Hey guys, it's Simmy, and this is Wrestling Unlimited. As we are here on the 19th of May, 2021, we talk about everything that went down tonight on AEW Dynamite. Last night's Dynamite was a pretty good show. I thought there was a lot of good wrestling on this show and whatnot. And if you, oddly enough though, actually I don't need these headphones anymore. I'm going to take these off. If you didn't know, you would think that that pay-per-view was this weekend. Because the way that they went hard on the card at the end of the show after the main event, literally, you would have thought that the pay-per-view was this weekend. I mean, they ran down the whole card like there's not another show before the pay-per-view, which is very weird. They do have one more show before the pay-per-view. It's actually next Friday, not this coming Friday, but the following Friday. Friday the 28th, because, well, he got pushed for the NBA. And then in 2022, which I know people have tried to make this sound like a bad thing, but it's really not. They're getting pushed off TNT to TBS because of hockey and basketball. I don't know what this is going to mean with baseball on TBS. Probably just the same thing. Preempted, moved to another night, which is not that big of a deal. But a lot of people are like, oh my God, they got bumped off TNT. Warner Media must really not like them. They got to put them on TBS. Well, if you really know, TBS is actually in, let me see something. I did the math earlier. Hold on. TNT is in 89,573 homes roughly. TBS is in 90,391 homes roughly. So that is about almost 800,000 more homes, to be completely honest. So I don't know if that's going to help the ratings tremendously or anything, but it's in almost 1 million more homes, TBS than TNT. So we'll see how that works. But I want to say thank you for joining me here, twitch.tv/PWU Unlimited. Also, thank you for joining us on youtube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. Remember, if you're watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either with a super chat donation. Nope, that's on YouTube. So if you're helping on YouTube, if you're watching on YouTube, you can help us out with a super chat or a super sticker donation. All super chats do get read live on the air. Also, remember, you can help us out by hitting that join button down below and becoming a channel member. As a channel member, you get perks like early access to news, early access to podcasts, early access to non-news videos, a badge next to your name, and emojis you can use. Also, if you're watching on Twitch, you can help us out a couple of different ways, either by hitting that donate button down below or donating Twitch bits in the live chat. Also, remember, you can subscribe on Twitch one of two different ways. You can either subscribe with a tiered subscription, or you can subscribe, well, for free with Amazon Prime. Because if you have Amazon Prime, then you have Prime Gaming, and Prime Gaming gives you one free subscription to any Twitch channel you want to subscribe to throughout the month. And we greatly appreciate it if you use that one free subscription on us here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited. But with that going forward, we've got AEW Dynamite to talk about. Remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting your thoughts to 510-906-1341. Again, that number is 510-906-1341. Let's get the poll going. What did you think of tonight's Dynamite? I liked it. It was all right. Oh, nope. Don't want to capitalize all that. Caps lock's off. It was all right. I didn't like it. All right. Throw the same poll up on YouTube for you guys over there. I liked it. It was all right. Whoops. Well, that wasn't what I wanted. let's fix the YouTube poll. If it ever pops up in the poll, redo the poll. Come on, YouTube. YouTube running slow. Hopefully, and I got to preface, last night we were doing the NXT review and YouTube went down. So if that ever happens, guys, if YouTube ever goes down, we are always live on both YouTube and Twitch. So if the stream ever goes down for some reason on YouTube, just head right over twitch.tv/PW Unlimited and we'll be live. If it's a YouTube issue, we will be live, still on Twitch, rocking and rolling. Same thing, vice versa. If we ever have an issue where Twitch goes down, just jump over to the YouTube. But I did want to let you guys know that because a bunch of people were like, oh, your stream's not working. What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, it's a YouTube issue. Go to Twitch. Go to Twitch. And a number of you did. So we're good there. It was all right. I didn't like it. All right, Twitch. YouTube poll is live. Let's get going. It's AEW Dynamite tonight. Kicked off with Jim Ross, Excalibur, Tony Schiavone, and Taz all on the broadcast booth. Taz was calling the Christian Cage match. That shit ain't ending anytime soon. Christian Cage took on Matt Sydal. Ooh, cough. They began with some basic stuff here, including tackles and drop downs. Sydal went for a springboard attack, but Christian cut him off with a kick to the leg. Cage then hit a drop kick to the outside. Once they got back in the ring, he used a backbreaker for a near fall. After the backbreaker, Cage targeted Sydal's back with stomps and kicks. Sydal came back with a Hurricane Rana and a spin kick. Sydal went up to the top, but Christian landed a back elbow that put him down. Sydal then fought off a superplex attempt and hit a Meteora for a 2. Sydal then hit a series of kicks, and Christian ducked a kick, but Sydal caught him with a lariat. Sydal hit a leg lariat and a Bronco Buster in the corner for another great 2. At one point, Sydal blocked a kill switch attempt, and Cage got his knees up on a standing shooting star, and then hit the kill switch to pick up the victory. So Christian Cage does defeat Matt Sydal tonight. Cage then helped Sydal to his feet, and the two shook hands afterwards. And as that went down, out would come Ricky Starks. Starks cut a promo where he told Christian that he's his own man, but he'll be on the sidelines for a while. Starks gestured to the entrance, but Hook, Cage, and Powerhouse Hobbs all jumped Christian from behind. Christian and Sydal, that is. Hangman Page would run out, hand his drink to Ricky Starks, like, hold this for me, and he started going at it with his double or nothing opponent, Brian Cage. Cage blocked a buckshot lariat attempt from Paige, and Paige blocked a drill claw. Paige did fall victim to the numbers game, and Cage hit him with a powerbomb. Brian Cage, that is. Team Taz then stood tall in the closing moments of this match, so I can see next week maybe getting Christian and Hangman against Powerhouse Hobbs and Brian Cage. They didn't announce that, though, even though... Actually, no, I don't think that match would happen next week. Now, thinking about it, because they announced a shit ton of stuff for next week's show. They actually announced, and we have it all here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 things for next week's show, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So the Varsity Blondes cut a promo. Brian Pillman Jr. and Griff Garrison just talked about their upcoming match tonight with the Young Bucks. Brian Pillman called the Bucks out for bringing up his late father. They said that they won't stop until they become AEW Tag Team Champions. Next up, we had Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston against the Acclaimed. And yes, they did come out to Wild Thing again. Because you know what? You make my heart sing. You make everything Wild Thing. So Moxley and Kingston cut a comedy promo to start off this match. They asked about the super kick party and whether or not they needed to throw super kicks to go to the party. They promised to beat the brakes off the Acclaimed. Acclaim cut a promo on their way out because, Max Caster does the John Cena thing. He raps on his way out to the ring or before his match starts. Caster made some joke about Moxley's wife, basically saying that she wants them on her podcast or whatever. Moxley sold it good. But yeah, Max Caster said the promo was a mic drop. I want to thank Thomas for the super chat donation on YouTube. He says, where is it? Why can't I see it? Great show tonight. Really looking forward to Double or Nothing weekend. Looking to be a pretty stacked card. Also, will Paul White be in the Casino Battle Royale? No. So we'll fast forward just for a second. When they were announcing everything for Double or Nothing, they showed Paul White's picture on the graphic for the Battle Royal. And they literally said, we'll have a special guest commentator. They called him, what was it? Basically, Paul White's going to be on commentary for the Battle Royal. But they called him a Battle Royal specialist. A Battle Royal specialist. He's been in a bunch. But I'm pretty sure he's only ever won one. That was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. I think he won that once. It was the only Battle Royal he ever won. So I thought that was funny. They're like, oh, and Battle Royal specialist Paul White will be a guest commentator for this match, the Casino Battle Royale. I go, okay, guy that's not had much success in Battle Royals. Going forward, again, like I said, we had Jon Moxley and Eddie Kingston against the Acclaimed. Caster, like I said, rapped on his way to the ring, talked about Moxley's wife, and Moxley attacked Bowens as soon as he stepped through the ropes. Moxley cut Caster. Moxley and Caster began as the legal men, though. Moxley used forearm strikes to beat Caster down in the corner. Kingston tagged in for an STO and delayed vertical suplex. Moxley and Kingston traded tags and continued working over Caster. Caster came back with the dragon screw off the middle ropes to turn the tides into their favor as we go to commercial break. Kingston made the hot tag to Moxley after the commercial break, and Moxley hit a German suplex and a pile driver on Caster. He choked Bowens out with a sleeper on the apron. Bowens popped back up and cut Mox off the top rope. Caster hit a superplex. Bowens hit Moxley with the crossbody and a near fall with Kingston saving Caster through a chain threw the chain to Bowens. The ref grabbed the chain and Caster went for the boombox shot on Kingston, but Moxley blocked and hit Caster with it instead. Kingston and Moxley then hit a wheelbarrow paradigm shift. I mean, this move looked all right, but it did look like they need to perfect it more. With that, Moxley pinned Bowens to pick up the victory. It was a solid match, nothing wrong. Thought it was all right. Wasn't great or anything. Jericho then cut a promo backstage. All I'm going to say is Marvez needs to slow down. It's like he's got a script and he remembers his lines for a minute. So he's just got to get them all out before he forgets them. He's like, we're here tonight with Chris Jericho. He's here with Dean Malenko. And we just want to get one real quick, Chris, about your challenge. And then, the Inner Circle being challenged to Stadium Stampede by the Pinnacle at Double or Nothing. I just want to know, are you guys going to accept that challenge or not, Chris? And I'm just like, calm down. Jericho said that Marvez has to wait just like everybody else because they'll tell later tonight what their plan is. Told Marvez to get out of there before he made the man with 1,001 holds angry. Jericho told Malenko that he'd forgot a few holds. Going forward, Scorpio Sky and Ethan Paige called out Darby and Sting. Tony Schiavone was in the ring. They interviewed Scorpio Sky and Paige. And they broke Scorpio Sky off of SCU so he can become this big singles guy. They had plans to push him as a singles. And he's literally in a tag team. He's literally right back into a tag team. He had like a big match as a singles, won the Face of the Revolution ladder match, and then he's back as the tag team. I don't know. Scorpio Sky said that Sting isn't the man he used to be. Paige said that Allen losing the TNT title was at least partly Paige's fault after he threw Allen down the steps. Sting and Allen entered and laid out Sky and Paige. Sting used a Scorpion Deathlock on Sky. Allen held Paige at bay with the skateboard. This is all right. This is setting up a match at the pay-per-view. It'll be Darby and Sting against Scorpio and Paige. And every time they talked about this match, they had to say, this is not a cinematic match. Sting will be wrestling live in the building in front of the fans. Then later on in the night, Sting will team up with Darby Allin and take on the team of Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. This will not be a cinematic match. Sting will be wrestling live in front of the fans. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I don't know why that's such a big deal. They're like, it's his first match live in front of fans in almost 6 years. And I'm like, again, okay, cool. If he's here to wrestle, then he's going to eventually wrestle in front of fans. I don't know why you got to hammer that in like it's such a big deal. Like, okay, Sting's going to wrestle in front of fans. Cool. We assumed that's what would happen. I mean, at least eventually. Then I don't get this. As Scorpio Sky and Paige retreated up the stage, Dark Order comes out. Why? They got no alliance to Darby or Sting. And they did this thing last week too, where Sting was getting beat up, so they came out and chased off Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. It's not like they've had a beef with Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page. No. It's like, it just makes no sense. It's again, Tony Khan telling people, oh, we'll get you on as much TV as possible, even if it's for like 10 seconds. You'll still be on TV. That's all this was. You had all the Dark Order come out. Colt Cabana, John Silver, Alex Reynolds, Evil Uno, 5, 10, Stu Grayson. Like, they all had to come out. For what? Nothing. That's what. Pinnacle comes out to cut a promo. Well, actually, they didn't come out. They were in a restaurant. This is all right. It was good until the stupid stuff with Sean Spears. Pinnacle were at a restaurant. Wardlow was drinking wine straight from the bottle. MJF cut a promo on Jericho and used some of his juvenile humor. Dax then cut a hell of a promo about how the Pinnacle shouldn't have to be worrying about the Inner Circle. They are at the top of the mountain, and they should be challenging for the world titles. They should be chasing every world title that this business has. But they can't, because they're too busy having to get rid of the Inner Circle. Dax said that Jericho has been making a mockery of wrestling for 30 years. They're all asking, hey, can we get refreshes of our drink? Can we get more of our drink? And then Sean Spears snaps, grabs the waiter, and slams him face first into the table. And he goes, I want my drink! Or something like this. Like, I want my drink. And Tully's kind of just like, here's some money. Throws it at the waiter and goes, that should pay for everything. That should take care of things. That end part made no sense. Why did he have to rough up the waiter? Like, the waiter got MJF's drink. The waiter got Dax's drink. Who's gonna come get your drink, bud? Oh, you got impatient, want to whip some ass? It made no sense. MJF then concluded the promo like every promo he does for the Pinnacle. He says, we are the Pinnacle. We're always on top. Cool. Mr. Amazing in the Twitch chat says, by the way, Big Show won 2 Battle Royals. He won the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal and a Battle Royal in 1996. Yeah, I didn't really watch WCW growing up, so I would have not known that at all. But thanks for letting me know that he won a Battle Royal in 1996 as the Giant. Because again, honestly, I didn't know that WCW was... I started watching pro wrestling my grandfather watched it. So it had been on my entire life, but I never really paid attention until about 1998 when I started to really like it and get into it. And all I knew of was WWF. I didn't know WCW was even a thing until like 6 months, 7 months maybe, before they went out of business and were bought by WWF. So anything like mid 99 and earlier I didn't watch. I've gone back and watched a bunch of like Nitro and pay-per-views and stuff, especially now with the WWE Network and all that. I've gone back and watched. But if it was just like a random Battle Royal on a show, I probably never saw it. So, again, like I said, as a kid, I didn't even know there was a WCW. I was introduced to WWF. And a big fan of the Hardy Boys and Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's all I knew. Dan the Man says, I believe the Battle Royal that he won was at World War III 96. Well, we can Google that real fast. Let's go World War III. World War III results. You would be not, well, actually, you're correct. He won a 60-man. He won the 60-man World War III Battle Royal for a future shot at the WCW Heavyweight Championship. Earlier in the night, he also beat Jeff Jarrett in a singles match. Cool. I don't think I've ever seen that pay-per-view, to be honest. So going forward, Karashita took on Rebel. And it's always dumb when they go, it says the graphic, Rebel, not Reba. Like, okay. The joke has gone on long enough with Britt Baker calling her Reba. So Shida quickly established the advantage, put on a glove and teased using Britt Baker's lockjaw on Rebel. Baker took the referee and Rebel hit Shida with a crutch. Rebel hit something resembling a suplex and Shida kicked out. Shida then used a stretch muffler, because Rebel's got a bad knee. She picked up the victory. Baker attacked Shida right after the match and hit a curb stomp on Shida on top of the AEW Women's World Championship. This was all right. I mean, the Rebel stuff was meh. Baker got the advantage afterwards, and we'll see where that leads to going into the pay-per-view in 2 weeks. So they said this happened last week. It was Kenny Omega and Don Callis going to Orange Cassidy. Not really much to talk about other than they kicked out Best Friends and Chris Statlander out of the locker room. They're like, we need to talk to Orange. And they were like, hey, we got a contract here that we want you to sign. Basically, it says you could get a world title shot in the future, but not a double or nothing. You're going to take yourself out of the triple threat. Why won't you sign it? You're hurt. We don't want you to get any more hurt. Kenny said as an EVP, he's only looking out for the best in his roster. And he knows that if Orange Cassidy gets hurt anymore, it might put him on the shelf, and then that's going to be less T-shirt sales and whatnot. He's like, so please just sign the contract. You'll get a shot in the future, but you won't wrestle a double or nothing. And Orange Cassidy slowly rips up the contract. And he goes, well, we had a feeling that might happen. Don, you got another contract, don't you? Don's like, yeah, I made 2 copies. Take a week. Think about it. We'll hear what you say next week. I was like, okay, cool. He's not going to sign it. Kind of a worthless, dumb segment. We're going to get a whole thing dedicated to this next week. We know he's not going to sign it. I mean, unless he's legit injured and can't wrestle at the pay-per-view, this is a good way to get him out of it. But what I've heard, he was said to be fine. So I don't know. Next up, the Inner Circle responds to the Pinnacle's Stadium Stampede Challenge. Group was out to Judas. No Santana again. Apparently he's sick. He missed last week's show. This show was taped last week, so yeah. Ortiz spoke first, and he talked about he said the talk is cheap, and he's ready to fight. Sammy Guevara said that everyone knows what his answer is going to be. He said he'll spray the bubbly on them every single week if it has to be. He said he'll jump from the rafters, shooting star press on their neck from the balcony. Whatever it takes, take them out. Jake Hager said that they wouldn't be bitches if they didn't accept. He said they would be bitches if they didn't accept this match. AEW thinks they're gritty. They let everybody use the word bitch. They use the word a little much. Jericho then cut a serious promo. He asked if it was all worth it. Was it worth it to go through blood and guts, to dislocate his elbow, to scare his family and his kids after falling off the cage? Jericho said it was worth it. It will be worth it. He thinks revenge is what he wants on MJF. Jericho said they accept the challenge. Stadium Stampede, going to happen. So the Inner Circle is going to dance all over the Pinnacle's faces and piss on their graves. Jade Cargill cut a promo. He's backstage with Tony Schiavone. Tony put her over as the hottest free agent in AEW, as they do every week. Mark Sterling interrupted. Yes, Mark Sterling. The guy from the fucking Matt Cardona and Brian Myers toy podcast. Said he wants to represent Jade. He pitched her on Team Jade, saying that it should be all about her. Jade sent him away and asked Tony, who was that guy? Next up, we had a pretty good match. It was the NWA Women's World Championship on the line. Serena Deeb defending against Red Velvet. I'm going to say right now, Red Velvet she has advanced greatly since we first saw her here in AEW. Year and a half ago now, maybe? A year ago or so. Since we first started seeing her, she has gotten so much better. You can see she still hesitates sometimes. But from where she was when she first started in AEW to now, leaps and bounds. Just good. So Deeb showed some aggression right off the bat with a series of forearms. Velvet came back by going after Deeb's left arm. Deeb hit an uppercut in a forearm and a dragon screw in the corner. Deeb was firmly in control before the ad break. Velvet made a comeback after the break. She did a double knee spot, the back, and an iffy standing moonsault where she barely got it. More like headbutted the midsection of Serena Deeb, but got a 2 off of it. Velvet then tossed Deeb to the floor and hit a moonsault off the apron. Back inside the ring, Velvet hit a kick for a near fall. They traded near falls for a little while after a missed high kick from a Red Velvet, and Velvet hit a sunset flip on Deeb. Velvet went for a moonsault off the top, but Deeb got her knees up. Deeb then hit a power bomb with a stacked cover for a near fall. Deeb then used a half crab into, I can't remember exactly what name she uses for her submission, but she put her little half crab submission on. Velvet got out of it. So they went for a figure 4. Velvet reversed that. Deeb then hit a chop block on Red Velvet's leg. And then she hit her half crabs. I think it's called, I don't want to be wrong, but I think it's like the Serenity Lock, maybe? Something like that. I think that's what it is. Serenity Lock. She put that on. Red Velvet tapped out. Well, actually, she put on half of the move where she traps the arm. She slammed the knee down about 5 times and then hooked the knee and made Red Velvet tap out. Pretty good match here, I will say. Pat cut a promo. He was with Alex Marvez in front of the Elite's locker room. He says he's tired of his missed opportunities and being misused in AEW. He said he's got his world title match, and now there's nothing that Omega, Callis, the Young Bucks, or any of these other elitist pricks can do about it. Pac asked what fool would be against the bastard at Double or Nothing. Then we got something that wasn't good. Anthony Ogogo can't do shit in the ring. Took on Austin Gunn. Austin Gunn hit a shotgun dropkick and a series of right hands. Gunn hit a blockbuster. Ogogo came back with a gut punch, a second gut punch, and that was it. That was it. All this fucker can do is punches to the gut. All of a sudden, there was blood on Ogogo's face. Apparently, it was Austin Gunn's blood. I'm 99% sure he bit a blood capsule and spit it on Ogogo to make it look like he had internal bleeding through the mouth. The referee tried to stop the match. Austin Gunn said no. Ogogo then hit a pop-up punch, and the ref finally stopped the match. This fucker can't do anything, and he's going to go in on the pay-per-view and have a match with Cody? I fear for this match. So after the match, Cody and Arn are checking on Austin when Ogogo teases spitting on the American flag. Cody yells at him, so he throws the flag back at Cody. Cody goes to run at him, but the referees run in to stop them to make it seem like that these guys, it's a blood feud. They want to kill each other. Like, it's, I thought Cody's problem was with fucking QT. And this guy was just on QT's side of things. I don't get where this blood feud here came from. I mean, I kind of get it, but the Ogogo thing just, it seems very forced. Like, it's like, we like Anthony Ogogo. He's a great guy. We're going to really try and push him hard, even though we know he's not ready, even though we know the fans can tell he's not ready, but we're going to push him as a big heel. And it's not working. When all the guy can do is throw a punch, he doesn't do a kick. He hasn't even whipped a guy into the ropes. Nothing. He stands there, walks up to you and goes, "Ooh." That's it. That's it. I don't know what this guy can even do. Juan Orozco in the YouTube chat says Anthony Ogogo is just an AEW borrowed time because he's blind in his left eye from his boxing career. They said that. He's like 78% blind in his left eye, which that doesn't mean anything, Juan, because how long has Crazy Steve been wrestling? He's legally blind in both eyes if he's not wearing his contacts. So being blind really doesn't mean much because if he can wear a contact in that eye to see and stuff, then he's fine. Crazy Steve's legally blind in both eyes if he's not wearing his contacts. So yeah, I have no faith in this match at the pay-per-view. I know Cody's going to try his damnedest to make this match look good. He's going to sell a bump and feed for Ogogo probably. But I just don't see there being any chance that this is any good at all. Next up, Alex Marvez is with Christopher Daniels or Frankie Kazarian. Again, talking a mile a minute. We are here with former SCU members, Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian. After your loss last week to the Young Bucks, it seems, well, you guys have to break up and split up. What is next for both Frankie Kazarian and Christopher Daniels? He also said, you sent out a cryptic tweet last night, Christopher Daniels, last week. What is that tweet all about? Daniels shook the hand of Kazarian and said something to him, but we couldn't hear it, and then he left. Kaz cut a promo. He said Daniels has earned the right to call his own shots. Kazarian said that he blames the Bucks, Gallows, Anderson, Don, and their entire group for ripping his heart out. He said he'll have his revenge, and that's the gospel, according to Frankie Kazarian. All right. Miro then come out and cut a pretty good promo. Miro said, I thank Jesus for protecting me. I also thank Jesus for making me stronger and more aggressive than everybody else so I can beat them all up. I go, yes, this is the Miro we've been waiting for. Miro said that he promises next week he's going to defend his TNT title against somebody that's going to get their ass beat. And then out came Lance Archer with Jake Roberts. Archer said that he's a monster, and he's been a monster in AEW well before Miro got here. He said that you don't respect the TNT title. You don't know what that title really means. And I do, because 1 year ago at Double or Nothing, I was fighting Cody to become the first AEW TNT champion. Archer said that at Double or Nothing, he'll make Miro his Bulgarian bitch. Miro goes, oh, good one. Not like I haven't heard that before. You come out here with the old guy all the time. The old guy's got to hold you back. Well, if the old guy gets close to me, not even Yoga is going to be able to save him. Like Yoga saved his life. And that popped freaking Jake, because Jake started laughing at that line. Lance Archer then said that he can't wait to get in the ring with Miro. He says it's going to be two monsters going at it like Godzilla and Kong. And Miro then told him there's nowhere to hide, not even behind the old guy at Double or Nothing. We then get a shit ton of stuff announced for next week. TNT title will be on the line when Miro defends against Dante Martin. Yeah, Dante getting ass beat. They said in a rematch from like All In a few years ago. Hangman Page versus Joey Janela. Cody Rhodes will have a weigh-in with Anthony Ogogo. I never fucking understood why you got to do weigh-ins in pro wrestling. I get it if it's like, okay, you're going for the cruiserweight title, but you have to be 205. So we're going to weigh you to make sure you actually make the 205. Like the whole Matt Hardy stuff back in the day when he was the cruiserweight champion, but they had to weigh him every week because he was like 206, 205. They had to make sure every week before he entered the ring, he weighed 205. Anyways, they did the same thing with Buddy Murphy in WWE as well, but you're going to do a weigh-in. It's going to be just like the Moxley-Jericho weigh-in. They both get on the scale, they weigh each other for no goddamn reason, and then there's a pull apart. That's all it's going to be. Jade Cargill's got an open challenge. Evil Uno and Stu Grayson will be taking on the team of Scorpio Sky and Ethan Paige. We'll get a compilation of the Inner Circle's greatest moments. Darby Allin with Sting in his corner will go one-on-one with Cesar Bononi, who will have Nick Nemeth in his corner. Orange Cassidy will respond to the ultimatum by Kenny Omega and Don Callis. A celebration of Hikaru Shida being a champion for a year will happen next week. And there'll be a big announcement regarding the buy-in match for Double or Nothing. Also, don't forget, next week's Dynamite is not on Wednesday. It will be airing on Friday because of the NBA playoffs. Also, it was officially announced Sting and Darby Allin will be teaming up to take on Scorpio Sky and Ethan Paige at the pay-per-view. And we get our main event. And the match was good. I just can't get into Young Bucks matches anymore. It's all just about them and their gimmick and their comedy more than the matches. And I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. It was very different than their normal Young Bucks match. And it's just more about trying to get over their new characters. Nick bounced around like a ping pong ball earlier for Pillman and Garrison at the outset of the match. Pillman got cut off at one point by the Bucks as they went to work on his back. Pillman was worked over through the commercial break. Pillman tried a crossbody, but Matt sidestepped. Lots of mugging for the camera by the Young Bucks again. Too much showboating to the camera and stuff. Pillman hit a crossbody to Nick after the break. Garrison got a hot tag, and Garrison ran wild with some hip tosses. Corner clothesline, double spear, and a plancha. The Bucks blocked a spear. No, the Bucks blocked a super powerbomb attempt. Matt and Nick hammered Pillman with some kicks to the back. Pillman then hit a super kick for a near fall on Nick. Matt blind tagged himself in and used a sharpshooter on Pillman. Nick sprayed cold spray in Pillman's eyes as Cutler took the referee. Again, they did this last week. It's stupid. Matt sprayed cold spray as well. Pillman then tried to break up a sharpshooter, but Nick then hit. This was actually a nice move. So Matt Jackson has got Pillman in the sharpshooter. And so you know where they do the Meltzer driver. One guy's got him in the tombstone, and Matt's got him in the tombstone, and Nick does the dive off the top with the facebuster thing. Well, this was actually, I like the spot. Pillman's in the sharpshooter. Nick then bounces off the ropes and hits the facebuster to Pillman. Pillman eventually then taps out. I liked that spot. I thought that was really cool. Afterwards, Moxley and Kingston would appear in the ring and went after Matt and Nick. Moxley and Kingston used stereo sleeper holds. Moxley and Kingston then removed the shoes of the Bucks. Basically, they stole their shoes. And it was then announced that the Young Bucks will officially be defending the AEW World Tag Team Championships against Moxley and Kingston at the pay-per-view. They then ran down all the other matches for the pay-per-view, like that show was happening this weekend. And Moxley and Kingston posed on the stage with the shoes. Cool. I guess. Like, literally, Nick Jackson walks out, and Tony Schiavone goes, "What the hell is that on Nick's head?" And Octavio goes, "I don't know what it is. It's probably expensive, though. It looks like a cockatiel vomited." Like, their gimmick is they make more money than anybody. They have fancier things than people. And they're good wrestlers, but they're very cocky. And it's like, I don't get it. I don't like it. I don't. I just really don't like it. But with that, I want to know what you guys thought of tonight's show. As that was AEW Dynamite. Let's check the polls. Remember, if you want to be part of tonight's show, you can do so by texting in to 510-906-1341. Again, that's 510-906-1341. As far as the Twitch poll goes, 83% of you liked tonight's show. 17% thought it was just all right. far as the YouTube poll does go, 63% of you liked the show, 21% of you thought it was all right, and 15% did not like it. As far as the text messages do go, person says, I thought Dynamite was great. But what match are you excited for most? As far as the pay-per-view goes, I honestly don't know. That's bad. That I can't tell you one match I'm actually excited for. Like, I know there's going to be a lot of great wrestling and good matches, but it's not like, there's not one match that I go, man, that's going to be the standout. Maybe the main event, and then maybe the women's title match. With AEW moving to TNT next year, do you think they rename the TNT title to the TBS title or keep it the TNT title? They ain't going to keep it the TNT title because that's just going to look dumb. He's the TNT champion wrestling on TBS. We don't even have a show on TNT. Do you think Christian Cage will join the Inner Circle? No, and I don't know where you would come up with that assumption anyways. Or do you think Best Friends will ever win gold? Maybe. I mean, it's still a young company, remember. Still a young company. And they're guaranteed to be around till at least 2024 because that's how long their TV deal is for. So anything can happen in the next 3 years, not longer. Where it says, I get that Kenny is supposed to be an annoying heel, but why can't we just get cool heel Kenny? I would much rather prefer that than comedy goof annoying Kenny. The whole Elite is just comedy goofs. That's the thing. They're not the Bullet Club, or even the Elite they were right before AEW. They're just a bunch of comedy geeks trying to be as funny as they can. And it's not working. At least not for me. Working for others, because I was told they already sold a bunch of those new bio T-shirts. Yeah, I asked. And I was told, yeah, they're selling. Literally, they have, I don't know if you guys have, I got to pull this up. I don't know if you guys have seen this god-awful T-shirt. Young Bucks. Flip this over here. This is a real shirt they're selling. I asked and was told, since it dropped this morning, it's already sold. I wasn't told how many, but I was told that people have bought it already. Who the fuck would buy this god-awful shirt? This is like one of the worst shirts I've seen in a long time. A long time. Yet, their people are fucking buying it. Their people are fucking buying it. The Young Buck AEW loyalists are that loyal. They're buying even this god-awful of a shirt. A couple more text messages here. Person says, if I can get it to load. Young Bucks are doing too much showboating and not enough as kicking aggression like they were when they were in the Bullet Club in Japan. Exactly. This is your prediction for the mystery person in the Casino Battle Royale. I have no clue. It's AEW. It can literally be anybody because it doesn't have to be somebody signed to the company. So that's where it's like, it gets hard to predict something like that. It's almost impossible because it can be anybody not signed to WWE, not signed to Ring of Honor, and not signed to MLW. I think literally it can be anybody else in the world. It can be somebody from Impact, it can be somebody from AAA, it can be somebody from New Japan. So saying, who do you think it is? Impossible to even try to predict because it's not like WWE where you just go, well, you got to look at the roster and you got to see who's here and who's on NXT and maybe it's one of those. No, literally, it can be anybody in the world. Says, do you think Kenny Omega loses the title and who do you think should beat him for it? No, and I don't know. I don't think he should be losing the title yet. I mean, he can't lose the title yet because I think he's got to go all the way to Slammiversary still holding both. Still holding both the AEW title and the Impact title. Whether he loses the Impact title at Slammiversary or not is to be seen. But I think he has to go into that next big Impact pay-per-view with both belts and the AAA Mega Belt. Which, actually, that's the belt I could see him losing first to Andrade. Says, who will win the triple threat? Kenny Omega. So do you think Eddie Kingston and Moxley defeat the Young Bucks for the titles double or nothing. That's like a 50-50 thing. I can see it happening, but at the same time, I can't see it happening. I honestly could see it happening, but at the same time, I go, if they want the elites to look good with a bunch of belts, then no. But if they're really focused on Eddie and Mox as a team, I would do it. If it was me, I would do it. I would put the titles on Eddie and Mox. But how long are you going to actually have them as a team before Moxley wants to go back singles and fight for the world title and all that? So that's the big question there. Chris says, you think Kenny loses to Andrade? I do. I really do. Because it's in Triple A's best interest to get that belt back. And if there's anybody that the fans would be okay with beating Kenny for that title, it would be Andrade. Finally, this last person says, do you think Kenny loses the Impact title before AEW title? Probably. It depends on who he's defending it up against. I don't think he loses to Moose. But if he loses to somebody new to Impact at Slammiversary, I could see him losing it then. It just depends on who the challenger is. But with that, I want to say thank you guys for joining me here. Twitch.tv/PW Unlimited. YouTube.com/Pro Wrestling Unlimited. We'll be live again this Friday for Friday Night SmackDown. Have a great night, guys, and I'll see you next time.